Yep.
Hello, I'm Ed McKee, Manager of Outdoor Horticulture here at Frederick Meyer Gardens, and today we're in the English Perennial Garden at Meyer Gardens, and we're going to talk a little bit about lifting perennials and cutting them into a few pieces and replanting. First, what I always like to do, and we have this large stand of daylily over here to my left, I like to first cut back some of the foliage. So it's a simple thing to do. You just take one of your head shears, make sure that it's pretty sharp. It takes a little bit of elbow grease to get it done, and as you can see, this is quite a large daylily that we have here, and oftentimes the way you can tell that it's time to dig a perennial is the fact that you don't get as many blossoms, or it doesn't perform as well in the landscape, or it's just getting a little too big and it's not playing real well with the other perennials. For example, it's starting to grow into the salvia that we have here, so we want it to be a little more compact. So like I said, one of the first things is just to take the head shears and clip this back like this, a real simple process, until you've got it all pruned back. Something like this, and again, this is all compostable material, so take this foliage and throw it in your compost pile. And then what we have is just the base here of this daylily or Hemocalyx that we're going to dig. We're going to do that today. You can use a few different tools. A couple of my favorites are just what I would refer to as a regular spade, and then we have a little longer, shorter handled shovel that you can use as well, and this oftentimes comes in pretty handy for actually the dividing of the perennial. But again, like I said, I just use a regular spade. So you want to just go out around the edge of your perennial clump. As you can see, just circle it as you go, lift a little bit as you go, work it out of the ground. It's a pretty simple process. It takes, again, a little bit of work to do it, but there, it's pretty free. The clump is free, as you can see the roots there. And what I like to do is, before I even pull the clump out of the ground, I like to go ahead and decide where my cuts, where my divides are going to be made. So for this particular size of clump, it's a pretty large clump. We can probably divide it in quarters, actually. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to work my shovel down in the center of the clump and basically just divide it in half to begin with. And you're not going to hurt it, so just be a little rough with it, be aggressive with it, have some fun and divide it. So as you can see, the first half of the clump there, we've divided in half. Then I'm going to take the other halves and divide those in half once again, and ultimately then we'll end up with obviously 4 pieces which we'll be able to replant. So we've got 4 clumps now. We've divided it in half twice, each clump, and we've got 4 clumps, and as you can see, it's as simple as that. You didn't hurt it any. So before I replant, what I like to do is I like to inspect the clumps a little bit and look for anything that looks a little damaged. For example, we've got a little bit of damaged root there. So what I would do is I would take my pruners and just prune off those areas for the health of the plant that we don't any longer need on there. Just some of the things that are damaged. Simple as that. And then we will replant these clumps where we want to plant them. So one basically will go right back into the hole that we took it out of originally, and just plant at about the same depth that you dug it out of. Work it in there, and we'll probably have to bring in a little bit of extra soil along the back here. But that's the idea. Get it in there, and then what you want to do is just water it in once you're done. Again, make sure all those roots are covered up, and it's really just as simple as that. You've divided your perennial. You've got 3 other sections to fill in your garden, give to your neighbors and share, or whatever you'd like to do with it.